each country I visited, I felt home. I didn't feel weird. I didn't feel rejected or marginalized. I always had good company. I always had good professors in the university.
Welcome, Hossam. How are you?
Hello, Marco. It's good to be here. Thank you for hosting.
Yeah, of course. And for anybody that just has seen Hossam for the first time, he is the owner and founder of CADC, which is the Career and Academic Development Center. And his main goal is to help students from abroad to study in Europe and notably USA and soon maybe in Saudi Arabia.
Yes. Yes, it's
Yeah.
actually CADC for international students who are interested to study abroad. And this is our ultimate goal, is to facilitate this procedure, because a lot of students, they think this is a very complicated process. And the ultimate goal is to connect student to their passion and ambition to study abroad. So this is basically what we do.
Nice. And what made you want to get started in this program that you made?
Because of my life, I was very young when I started to study abroad. And I was very lucky with my family, because they really cared about that, not only for me, but also for my siblings, my two sisters, and my brother as well. And I started very young. I remember the first time my sister, when she traveled, she was in high school, and we started at that time. I got accepted in my first scholarship to study in the United States. It was a scholarship from the State Department, or the U.S. Department of State. I was studying pharmacy in Egypt, and then I went to the USA for 1 year to study not only pharmacy or pharmaceutical courses, but also like other courses that are related to culture, academic English. And I was surprised by the different attitude in the US compared to the education in Egypt. In the
Like
US, I had the opportunity or the chance to work in, like, to have an internship, to work in pharma industry. I worked in a very big pharmaceutical company, like it's called Novartis, and because of this experience, I got accepted again in another internship or another program in Switzerland in the same company, and I worked in Egypt in the same company for almost 4 years. And this is, for me, was a very powerful experience. I would never have this if I didn't decide to study abroad or take this scholarship. And also because of this experience in the US, after it came another internship in Germany, another internship in Serbia, and then another program in Switzerland. And then I got the FEL Excellence Scholarship to study the master's or the MBA in France at the Sorbonne University. And after the Swedish Institute to study artificial intelligence in the Stockholm University. So for me, is like, when you take the path of studying abroad, and when you start and you really realize the importance of going outside of your comfort zone, especially from our countries. There are a lot of countries around the world. Not every country is Europe or the US in terms of the chances of education. A lot of educational system, they are super stubborn and tough. You just go to college, classes, exams, and that's it. But when you study abroad, it's totally different story. When you have to do an internship, or you have to attend some company visits, you have to work on projects, you have to integrate personal experience with your professional experience. You do networking with people around the world when you study abroad. So it's really different. And that's why when I did the MBA, it was I'm coming from pharmacy school. So my background in business was zero. I had nothing, like no information about business or how to create a business. And I learned this in the MBA. And it was my project in the MBA to start up a company to help international students to study abroad. And it's super funny, because the first people in France, when I negotiated this project, it was a French university. It's called Paris Sciences et Lettres, PSL, and they believed in the project. And that was also away from my home country. They were like, that's a very nice experience. You're gonna promote French programs. It will be very nice for international students. You speak Arabic, English, you have TikTok in Arabic, you have TikTok in English. It will, like, we need that. We have only, like, because the statistics says that say that there is only, like, from Egypt as an example, only around 2.5k Egyptian students who study in France, and that's very low, huh? It's like number 10 in Egypt, like for France, as a choice for studying abroad. And it was very good point that while you are going for the committee in Paris Sciences et Lettres, that's a very nice idea because you are going to promote French education, French universities. So they believed in the idea. And that was the first click. And that's how I started. And then the story has begun. Yes.
Oh, so it started with Paris Sciences, and then it grew.
Yes, actually, we like Paris Sciences et Lettres was the first university because I had the test as an auto entrepreneur with them. Now I have, like, the company is part of PSL Lab, which is specialized for startups for students who are in Paris Sciences et Lettres. And then we started to grow. We have now Kidja Business School in France, Paris School of Business, ISEP Engineering School, Y Schools for Tourism. And then we started to grow outside of France. We have now partnerships in the UK, Germany, the United States, and we are growing. We still, we still get more partnerships in some other countries.
Yes, it's going to become a big network that you're going to create.
Exactly.
You're creating already.
Exactly. And also it's good for students because, some students, they would be very interested to study in other countries, huh? Not everyone wants to study in France. Some people, they would prefer to go to the US, to Germany. Some people, they graduated from German school, so they prefer German-speaking country. Other people, they are Anglophone, so they prefer to be in English-speaking countries, etc. So we have to have, an offer for each student that would fit his or her dreams. That's why we try to penetrate new markets.
And will you maybe like Spain, for example, for Spanish speakers? You think it's a possibility?
Spain actually in our list, and it's a very good market, especially when I go to TikTok online. A lot of students, they ask, "Oh, I want to study engineering in Spain. I want to study business in Spain." Spanish also is a very important language around the world. When you speak Spanish or when you learn Spanish, you have an access to tremendous amount of nations, huh? You have all Latin America, you have Spain and Europe. A lot of people, they speak Spanish, so it's very good in terms of opening a business. If you work in an international company, it will help you a lot in terms of working and studying. Spain also is a European country, Schengen area, so it's a very interesting market for people. Also, it's like I have noticed a lot of people who are really love the domain of sports, because Spain is very good, like in the soccer or football, and they want to go and work in that field as well after they graduate from the master programs. So it's very interesting market, but we really need to study very well, in terms of the type of universities, what type of school we want to partner with. We need to integrate more programs that would fit everyone. So yes, Spain is on our list for sure, and soon we will be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially in USA, there's a lot of Spanish speakers in Florida, for example, and yeah, I think that they would love to go to Spain, for example.
The good thing about the Spanish people, they really have an access to or the Latin America in general, except for Brazil, because they speak Portuguese. But the other countries in Latin America, the good choice for them is to go to Europe. They have Spain for sure, because they speak the language. It's easier for them. And when you compare between education in the US and Spain, Spain is way cheaper. On the same time, it's a Eurozone, so the currency is very strong in terms of the income after you work, when you compare education in the US or Spain. So good quality in both countries, good future in both countries, because in Spain you have an access to all Schengen area and all European Union countries. US is very strong as well. So maybe the preference here is how close is a country, because US is way closer to the to Latin America. and the language as well. If you really prefer to live in a country that you are familiar with the language, people would go to Spain. If they have the choice, if they want to be in an Anglophone country, US and Canada is a very good choice for them as well. So we still don't have until now students from Latin America who are like that we have recruited, but soon we will have as well.
And imagine also like Brazil, like Portuguese speakers for
Yes,
Portugal.
that's also a very interesting market because Portugal and Europe, they speak Portuguese, and that's a very good example for Brazilian students because they would be able to come and live without having the burden of speaking a language or learning a new language. And on the other side as well, Portugal is like a European Union Schengen area. So it's very good in terms of the economy and the future as well, the future endeavors for you as a student. So yeah, you can see that in Europe there are so many opportunities, and it would fit a lot of people if you really decide. When we talk about France or the French language in general, if you are a Francophone student from any country, you have an access to Luxembourg, to France, Belgium, a big part of Switzerland. When you speak German, or if you graduate from German school, you have Germany, you have Austria, you have also a big part or the major part of Switzerland. So it really depends on what you study, what you want to study, where you want to live, your language preference, and that's also one part of our consultation with students. We really put into our consideration the language barrier, the learning of a new language, the possible countries where you can find jobs and work. That's also one of the things that we really focus on during our consultation with students.
Okay, so with the students, you have a meeting, you have a Zoom, you explain the process little by little, or how does it?
We have a very good procedure so far that is very kind of, for me, is very kind of well organized. Because what we do is we have our platforms, especially the TikTok, and now we started also on the other platforms. So students, they see our announcement or our videos about the universities, the programs. We prefer to speak about like each program in specific. So we do video about data analytics for business, or business transformation for sustainability, or in sustainability, artificial intelligence in healthcare. So it would be really targeted to a specific group of people. And if they get really interested, they contact us via the website, or via email, or via LinkedIn, and we ask them kind of question that would shorten the procedure, because we really need to know about the background of students in terms of the academic background, in terms of the language level, in terms of the budget as well. Or if they need a scholarship, do you have a budget or you want a scholarship? Because it's totally different procedure if you self-funding student, or if you are interested to apply for a scholarship. And then when we get these kind of answers, we analyze very well the answers, and then we go for an interview. We meet the student personally, and then we discuss very well the procedure in terms of the application of the university. When it comes to France, there is a procedure after the university is called the interview, because French universities, they love to have interviews, and this is part of our service as well, and consultation, because we prepare a student for the application. We help them in writing the CV, the motivation letter. That's also one good thing, because students, they think that we write for them, but we don't write for them. We teach them how to write. Because they would need this exactly, because they would need this when they come to France, if they want to apply for an internship, or a conference, or a company visit, or an observership. They will ask them always, write why you are interested in that. And if they don't know how to write, exactly, if they don't know, they will call me back and say, oh, I need you to write the motivation letter for me, and we will say sorry. So what we do is we teach them how to apply, how to write the motivation letter, or the personal statement, or the professional project. We after they learn that, we also show them a successful application from a previous candidate, maybe in the same field or a different field, just to give them the confidence and the trust that someone has been accepted who wrote this kind of essay in this way. And
That's really
then we
good.
prepare them for the interview as well. And this is an important part because a lot of international students, they are not familiar with the type of questions of the interview, like the interview questions in Europe or the US, and they really need to be prepared. We do role plays with them, and then we go for the after being accepted into the university is the sometimes like in France there is a procedure called campus France, and campus France is a different procedure. You have to apply. There is an interview with the officer in the French Institute or in the campus France. It really depends on each country. We prepare them for that as well, and then we start from there. We do consultation about the housing, about the visa procedure, etc. So, and then also we do what's called the pre-departure orientation, and we have post-arrival orientation. What you really need to do or to prepare before you come to, before you go or you leave your home, like your home country, and what you need to do when you arrive. And this is kind of basically from a personal experience as well, because in CADC, all the team members, they have traveled abroad. We have all studied abroad, not only one country or two countries, at least three countries. So we really have a good experience about what you really need to do before you go or when you arrive to the host country or the host university. Yeah.
So you have experience. You know what to tell them. You know how to prepare them to succeed.
Exactly, because when you leave a country, you don't know really what you need to bring with you in terms of the documents. If you really need to translate specific documents when you arrive here, and they will ask you, and then you will be shocked. Oh, I didn't know. So we tell them about the list of documents they really need to prepare, things they have to check or to bring with them. It would be cheaper from their home countries when they come to France or the US or the UK. Also, when they arrive, they really need to apply for a bank account. They need to buy like a mobile SIM card, or they have to apply for the assurance maladie or the healthcare system. They have to apply for the CAF. They have to, there are a lot of things they really need to do, and they really need to know. And if they don't know that, it will be really a big problem when they arrive.
Yeah.
It will be really hard experience and not smooth procedure. So we try, as as much as we could, to make the procedure easygoing and douce, like the French says. Like douce experience. So that's what we try to do, to give them also a good experience. And at the end of the day, it's our share of voice. It will be reflecting to our our company as well, when you really have a good experience as a customer. Yeah.
What? And when you first moved out of like your home country to go study abroad, was there any difficulties? Like did you find it difficult to do it?
It really depends on the personality of each person. And for me, it was an adventure. I did enjoy every minute, especially my first travel, because I was really little boy coming from a small city, not a big city, in Egypt, coming from a public university. And, I was going in a very well organized trip from the American Embassy to the United States. And I was just enjoying every minute. I was not thinking negatively about anything. And for some reason, because of this energy, even when there were some struggles, I think I just managed them. I cannot say everything was perfect, but when you have the positive energy and the willing to really take the advantage of the experience, I was really, passing through Hamburg gracefully. I didn't feel the toughness of the experience. But for sure, when I think about it from a helicopter view, or when I look at the experience from a helicopter view, it was really difficult to leave your family, to leave your hometown, your comfort zone. I had to stop 1 year from my college, and this is a big thing in Egypt. We don't have that what's called gap year or travel abroad to get more experience. That was kind of something many of the family members and my friends were saying, oh, you're going to stop for a year just to go abroad, like what you gonna learn. It's better to finish your school and then you go abroad. And I was not thinking about it that way. And luckily, my family, they were not thinking about it that way. The family members as well, they were very excited as well. And the experience was very good. I think also one of the things is about the energy, what you expect. I was like, I'm going to really take advantage of this experience. And that's how I did a lot of milestones, even with my scholarship holders, the colleagues who got the same scholarships. Maybe they didn't get the same milestones as I did, because I was studying, I was attending almost every organization event in the university. I was the United Nations representative in the university. The university was very close to New York, to the headquarters of the United Nations, and there was a program between the university and the United Nations. So they always nominated me to be the student who will talk or to present to the ambassadors. Also, I did 2 internships. However, the scholarship asked me to have 1 internship. I don't know how I did 2 internships. I was in that company, the Novartis, the pharmaceutical company, and I was also participating in a research in the university with a professor, and my name was published in a book, and I was like, huh? That's a big thing. When I was handling the professor without knowing, and then at the end of the day, when we finished the internship, she was like, Hossam, the book has been published and your name is there as a co-author. I was like, like a co-author? And I was really surprised, and that's why I was like, studying abroad is kind for me like a land of opportunity. Each country is a land of opportunities. Because I did a big milestone. Sorry?
Which one was the first country?
United States, the US.
United States.
Yes. And, like the whole experience, I remember like the friends I had in the US, they are still, until now, we're still friends until now. Because for some reason, we were laughing a lot. We were super happy. Even, meeting for simple events. We literally made from an ant an elephant in each event. Like, we were laughing a lot. It was really a lot of happy moments, good people around me always. And I think this is what I always say to students, because, not everyone is the same. Some people, they are afraid, they are scared. What we're going to do? Do you think I will be successful when I leave, etc.? And I always say, look at how many people are abroad and they are chasing their dreams, and everyone has a very good, successful story, and you can do your own as well. So in terms of struggles, I had for sure, but maybe because of the energy that I had, for some reason, I went over them very quickly without even thinking about them in a negative way as a struggle. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And what do you, if you had to choose one thing, what would be the best part about your decision to study abroad?
The good decision is that I didn't listen to the cultural, taboos in my community. Because everyone around me, like maybe 90% of the people, they were against the idea. Not only for me, but also for my sisters. Like a girl who would travel abroad and be in, I remember my younger sister, she was hosted in a host family in the US. And I remember that was really a big negotiation against my mother, from sometimes a neighbor, sometimes family members, sometimes her friends. How you gonna leave your daughter to be away in a host family in the US? She will be spoiled, etc. And this was, I think, the most important decision, is that we didn't listen to the cultural taboos. We really just took the decision to fly and get the best of the experience. So that was for me the same for my older sister and my younger sister. And I think if you would listen to, or if you would follow the normal in my community, I wouldn't be here now. Because, when you travel abroad, you really, it opens your horizons very vast without feeling. And that's why when I went to the USA, that's how I got the experience in Germany. I wouldn't know about the program in Germany if I didn't travel to the US. I wouldn't be in Switzerland in Novartis company if I didn't get this internship in Novartis United States in the US. The experience of learning French, I learned French in the US because my university had a partnership, not a partnership, they had another branch in Canada. And Canada, 20% they speak French there. So they, from like Quebec and Montreal. And there was a professor from Quebec that was there in my university, and I learned French with her. And that's how I fell in love with the French language. And I continue with my French education in the French Institute. And that's how I know about the Eiffel Excellence Scholarship to study in France. It's like a chain. If I really didn't go to the first experience, and if I was not courageous enough to take this experience, I would be afraid for each other experience, or like to go to other countries. So I think that was a really good decision. And I was again very lucky with my family. And I think my family, like my father, like he died way when I was younger. So my mom, I think she was really, I don't know how to put it in a word, but I think she was ahead of her, ahead of her time, like that. It was not her time, because usually the women in Egypt, they would be really afraid. They are so protective, and they wouldn't let their children just to travel, especially girls, right? So I think she was super open-minded. If we compare her to the community in the small city or in Egypt, that's not normal. That's not normal. And I think until now, in my community, like when I look at my friend zone, my family zone, even my college in Egypt or my university, I didn't meet anyone who started really studying abroad at that young age. And I think it's all because the decision that my mom has taken is to let us go, just go and chase your dreams. So yeah, if I didn't have also that type of family, I think we wouldn't reach here. And by the way, later on, my sister as well, she got the Swedish scholarship to study in Sweden, and also another program in the US. And that's a proof of what I have said. It's a chain. When you start exploring the world, you will always find other opportunities. You will attract them for some reason. I really don't know how, but the energy, you just, attract new opportunities, new experiences, etc. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, like the path for you that you don't know about.
Yes.
Yeah, that's incredible. And what would you say is the most craziest thing that has happened to you because of this whole experience?
The crazy things are a lot, because to what extent they are crazy, it depends. But for sure, with friends, when you travel abroad and you have friends from all over the world, you really have crazy experiences with people who have different mentalities, different beliefs. So you really learn also from them when you share what you believe, etc. So you meet a lot of crazy, in a good way, crazy people in a good way, crazy mentalities. You meet people who have ideas that are beyond your expectation as well. And in terms of on the professional side, if you would tell me in that young age I would be working as an internee in that big Swiss company in the US, I wouldn't believe anyone. If you tell me that your name will be published in a book, I would say no. If you would tell me that I will obtain really prestigious scholarships to study abroad, like the one from the Swedish government or the French government or the American government, I wouldn't believe that. And even now, sometimes when I discuss that with some people, they really think about, Hossam, how you really did that. So for me, that's crazy, because usually you get accepted maybe if you are lucky in one scholarship, if you are really more than lucky, 2 scholarships. But I was really lucky to be accepted in many scholarships in many countries. and that was also a good thing in my past, because to study in France is not cheap. If you want to study in Sweden, it's not cheap. If you want to really have a good experience in the US, it's not cheap.
And yeah, about that actually, because there's a notion that in Europe the tuition fees are not that expensive. Like I mean, even for Europeans, it's free most of the time. So what is the part that is that you said is expensive?
That's a very good question, because when it comes to tuition fees, that's a big discussion. In the US, it's kind of, and Canada, maybe they are the most expensive in terms of education for international students, but it's still the land of opportunities. A lot of people, they would like to invest. And always, that's what I always say to students. Look at it as an investment in yourself. That's why US has a lot of international students, because they know that they would come, they would pay, they would have really good education, and then they would be able to work, stay in the US, and get later the American citizenship, right? Because you will be treated, and this is one good thing about all countries in Europe or US or Canada, Australia. When you are an international student, you have the right, and that's very important, by law, to stay in the country, to search for a job. Even if you couldn't find a job by the time you graduate, by law, you can stay in the country. Like US gives you a chance to stay 1 year, France 1 year, Germany 1 year and a half, like 18 months, the UK 2 years, and etc. Like each country will give you an opportunity to stay trying to find a job, because they really need a lot of talents. And this is what I always say to students, and that's not my talk. It's always say, even on my TikTok, I always get these type of videos from Macron, for example, when he talked about that he is very interested to bring 30,000 Indian students to come and study in France. And after graduation, they would give them a visa for 5 years to stay and work and find jobs in the US, right? In France, sorry. And when it comes to Germany, is the same. When it comes to the US, the European Commission, the head of the European Commission, she said, she's a very strong Swedish lady, and she said, we need immigrants in Europe. We need 1 million immigrants each year, because we have shortage in talents. And I was really surprised when she said, without immigrants, we will starve. Even the word she used is very strong. And that's what I always say to international students. Now, Europe, US, Canada, Australia, they really know the value of international students, because we are the human resources that they really need, right? So the tuition fees is always a kind of an investment. When you go to the US and you pay a lot of money, it will pay back when you graduate, when you work. In France, Germany, or Europe in general, it's totally different model. Why? Because in Europe, you can really pay almost no tuition fees. You can study a program maybe for 200 euros, 300 euros, up to 1,000. But most of these programs are taught in French or German. So you really need to have high level of French, high level of German, or any other language when it comes to the other countries, right? But still, some public universities, they started to integrate English programs into the public universities. But the competition is super high, because there are very, a few number of those programs, right? And the competition is super high. So not every student would be able to get admitted. And that's why there are the private universities in Germany or in France, and the tuition fees is still very cheap compared to America or to Canada. So the average maybe could be around from 7 to 10 for the bachelor degree or the bachelor level. It could be also between 10 to 20,000 for the master level. It depends on the program and the university. But the good thing about France and Germany or Europe, that's what I think I really like, is that each program has an internship. And when you talk about the internship, this is a funding, because by law you have to be paid. If I will give you an example about me, I was getting, I think, almost 1,200 euros each month. and my internship was for 6 months. So when it comes to kind of a funding, if you will think about the internship as a funding opportunity, you will, at the end of the day, that you will find big part of your tuition has been paid by the fund that you get in the internship, right? Also, some programs are in France, and that's what I like in France. They have so many types. The alternance, they have what's called alternance, and when you apply for an alternance program, it's kind of you work for 2 weeks and you study for 2 weeks. So you go to the university for 2 weeks, and then you go to a company for 2 weeks. Exactly. And the company will pay everything for you in terms of the tuition fees, even if they are 20K, right? At the same time, you will be paid a salary. Maybe at the alternance, it will be a bit cheaper compared to the internship because they pay for you the tuition fees. So they will give you a salary like between 600 to 800, but they pay the tuition fees for you, like 20K or 17K or the 10K. So
the company decided to do that instead of just an internship.
They could, but when you apply for the program, it's an alternance master or it's a full-time master. You would already know that before you apply. So if you were like, when you start to apply, you would decide, I want to apply for the full-time or the alternance. It's not an option inside the master program, because when you apply for the the alternance program, before like you apply in the application procedure, you have to secure a company and an admission at the same time. And when you are in the full-time programs, you will just be admitted to the program, and then later you will apply for the internship or you have time to secure an internship. But in the alternance, it's super different. And the university would help you, because the university, they offer an alternance program, so they know that each student has to secure a position in a company. And it comes here, the rule of the career office in the university, because that's what they do. They do a lot of partnerships with companies to facilitate this procedure for students. So they contact companies, they would get for students kind of offers, they prepare them for the interviews as well, etc. So if you think about it, you have so many options, and this will take us to the scholarships. If you really think you cannot afford the tuition fees for any reason, you would apply for scholarships. There are tons of them. If you talk about the US, you have Fulbright master program, fully funded scholarship. France, Eiffel Excellence. Sweden, the Swedish Institute. Denmark, the Danish government scholarship. The Netherlands, the Orange Knowledge Program. So the Swiss scholarship, or the Swiss government scholarship in Switzerland. The Hungarian Hungaricum Stipendium scholarship in Hungary. The Romanian government scholarship. So you just need to dream. I want to study there. I have tuition fees. Yes, I can pay the tuition fees. Fine. I cannot pay. Then you can apply for scholarships. But the thing here is a very competitive to be accepted into scholarships, because they accept between 2 to 3%. And that's not my, like the numbers are not mine. They already published this on their website. If I will give you an example, the Swedish Institute has received this year in 2024 almost 9,000 applications approximately, and they have chosen only 357 applicants. The Chevening Scholarship to study in the United Kingdom, they have received 67,000 applications, and they have chosen only 1,800 applications from the world. So it's very competitive to get accepted or to get an offer in a scholarship. And that's all that we do. We have a very good course. It's called the Scholarship Accelerator course. And what we do is we prepare students to have a competitive application to be from the top 2% when they apply for scholarships. We teach them how to write the motivation letter for universities and the scholarship, the CV, the resume. Some scholarships, they have a specific resume or CV, like the Swedish scholarships. So we teach them how to write this as well. And we show them a previous successful application. The interviews for universities, the interviews for the scholarship as well. And this is because we have had this experience before as well, and we help students. So this course is good for two reasons. The first reason is you really learn how to fill a competitive application for a scholarship, so you can apply for any scholarship. You don't need anyone to help you later. And the second reason is that you will be able to check or to see previous successful applications from people who have been accepted into scholarships and universities. So it will build the kind of confidence on what you have learned, right? So this is also one thing that we do in CADC. We have this course is for 3 weeks, 2 weeks of studying, and then 1 week of practical experience. You will have an assignment to apply for a scholarship, so you really need to prepare a full application, and we review that with you. So when you apply later alone into any scholarship, you won't feel you are doing something weird or something new. You already have the experience. And that's what we offer in CADC as well.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And this is totally free, right?
When it comes to universities, it's totally for free. So when we recruit students to universities in our partner list, we recruit them totally for free. But when it comes to the course, the scholarship accelerator course, students have to pay fees, but it's not a lot. And because we are now in a podcast, for each student who would come, if they listen to that podcast, they can come and say, we have seen the podcast with Marco, and we have a discount of 30% for them. So that would help the students to get into apply or register or subscribe for the course that we provide. Yeah. Yes.
That's great. Yeah, and for students that are considering this very seriously, like what would you say to them about like, oh, I'm gonna miss my home, like what if I get really homesick, like what would you say to that?
The definition of home is different at my perspective, because for me each country, and maybe what I say is kind of philosophy, but that's what I felt. Each country I visited, I felt home. I didn't feel weird. I didn't feel rejected or marginalized. I always had good company. I always had good professors in the university. I always found people who helped me for no reason. They were always there for me without feeling. I really have good connections in each country that I have visited before. So, and my home is not far away. I can always go and visit my home if I really need that or if I want that. The home for me is like when you feel that you have really good company. And in each country I had that. I had very good friends, very good colleagues, very good adventures. The opportunities when you feel that you are doing milestones somewhere, you would feel, oh, that's my home. I am achieving more dreams. I feel I'm getting so much personal development. If you reach something that's beyond your expectation. When I started my own company, and we started in Egypt, and then we opened in Sweden, and in France we were hosted by the Paris Sciences et Lettres. So I couldn't ask for more help, or so I really don't think about it this way. I know people are different. Some people, they really get home homesick, and that's a very bad feeling for sure. But for me, it's no, it was really in each country, especially when you really travel abroad, you meet so many international students who are in your shoes. So they also are very open to have good friends. They are so open to have good vibes. When you meet or travel together, or to attend events together, you want to have really good connections and good bonds, because at the end of the day, we are all alone here, right? So you build friendships, you build the different new families. I have in France, if I will give you an example, I have friends French friends, people from Brazil, I have American friends who are here, people from Africa, people from Asia, people from even the Pacific region that I never met before. The opportunities every day, there is a new opportunity in France. When I was in the US, every day I had new opportunity as well. Germany, Serbia, Switzerland, each country has its own glamour, you know, and the experience. So I really recommend students to not think about it as going far away from home. Think about it, you are going for a new home, and that was always my mentality, and that's why I never really felt this kind of homesickness. I don't know how it feels actually, because I never felt it.
That's great. And your mom doesn't miss you, like?
Unfortunately, my parents died, but my mom, the only like she was alive when I traveled to the US, Germany, and Serbia, like those 3 trips. And we were like, you know, we were talking every day. That's important. And I had to kind of give her a report about my day, and I was feeling very happy because I was younger. I was like, Mom, today I did that. I meet these kind of people. Oh, I had new friends. Oh, I had a very good presentation today. I could accept it today in a program like to travel for 3 days to a conference in like in Belgium, for example. And for sure she missed me. That's, you know, that's the mentality of the Arabian country as well. They are so protective for their children, or they always see you as a child. They never see you as a grown man. But what I remember is how proud she was, because she's only one that she can compare my older version with my new version. She can see the development. She can feel the maturity, right? And she can compare that. And she was always super proud, not only like, you know, with me, but also with my other siblings when they traveled. And I think this was the only motivation for her, that she always see a better version of us when we come back, when you learn a new language, when you do an internship in a very big company, when you really study in a prestigious university, or if you get accepted into a scholarship. And I think that was only her motivation, to see us in a better place, you know. And this was, you know, the missing in a side, and the personal development and the experiences that we get on the other side. So there was a balance. Yeah. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So what if you could put in three list points, like what would be the absolutely most important thing that a aspiring student who wants to study abroad should do to get prepared?
The 3 most advices is like, one is in terms of the academic achievement. When you study abroad, you really try new experiences that maybe you cannot find in your home country. If I will give you an example, in my MBA, like, you know, we went to 3, actually I went to 4, but 3 mandatory outdoor events. One was in Italy, my MBA was in France, but we had to do an activity in Italy, one in Belgium, and one in Czech Republic. So these kind of experiences, yes, you have to go, and you have to study something, or you have to prepare a report, or to prepare for a project. And each experience was just amazing. And the extra one that I have taken is one in Spain. And it was about sustainability. So it opened my mind about totally different branch, is the sustainability and the 17 sustainable development goals and the agenda of 2030, etc. So this is really kind of something that added to my academic achievement to the MBA. So on the academic level, you will have really different experience that you will never get anywhere. So travel abroad. The second point is the professional level. What I like in Europe, specifically in Europe, is they really prepare you for the market. And each person who would study master or bachelor degree, you would have at least at least 6 months or 4 months of internship in a company in your field. This will give you experience, like a kind of professional experience, like a real one. So when you apply for jobs later, it will be easy for companies to recruit you. You will not feel weird in the recruitment process, and you will not feel alone when you start your job because you already have had a previous experience before. So on the professional level, you will have a really milestone. The third and the most important is the personal development. Your communication skills. We all say communication skills, but how you really feel it and how you would feel the development, this comes from being in an international community. When you work with international people, like I remember in my MBA, each presentation, each time, it's not the same group. So literally, I have dealt with almost more than 15 nationality in the MBA program, just in one program. So you really learn from the communication from people who are coming from different backgrounds, different habits, different way of thinking, different methodologies of thinking. The presentation skills, they really prepare you very well to be ready to present anywhere, anytime. You will be prepared for that when you study abroad. The language, you will learn a new language or you will enhance the language that you speak because you will live with people, the natives. So it will go to different level, or you will learn a new language. So on both sides, it will really improve your language skills as well. So on the academic level, the professional level, and the personal level or the personal development, you are the winner as an international student studying abroad. So that's why I really recommend each student to study abroad at least once in their lives. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, I've in my experience, I've done that a little bit in my life, and yes, I can feel that there's although sometimes it's hard to leave friends and stuff. It makes your whole worldview change, and it makes you see cultures in a different way that before maybe you had a completely different thought of how they were, but then now you see it in front of you, and you see, wow, this is amazing, and these people really have something to teach me and to make me grow as a
exactly.
being.
And this is, I always say, the power of studying abroad. You would never be the same version, even if you had challenges or struggles. You would never be the same version. Never. You will be more independent. You will be more eloquent in the way you speak. You will be different. And that was a note I remember. I was speaking with an international admission officer, and there were in this university there were two programs. One that is normal program for 3 years for students to study in France, and the other program was for 4 years, and students have to spend 2 years outside of France and 1 year of internship. And he told me, Hossam, students who are finishing the program that they have to study abroad for 2 years outside of France, they are never the same with people who studied only in France. Because, you meet people who studied in North America or South America or, South Korea, China. Some people, they go to study in United Arab Emirates as part of their program because they have partnerships around the world. So you choose really where you want to study. The 2 years, you have at least to go to 2 countries, at least. And some people, they go each semester in a different country, so 4 countries. In addition to the 2 years in France and the 1 year of internship. So definitely you are not the same as someone who studied just 3 years in one place. And that was a note even from the international admission officer. So I was like, oh yes, I can imagine. When you really go abroad a lot, you study abroad a lot, you deal with different people, different mentalities, different educational background. It's not the same. It's never the same.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so it's definitely an opportunity that everybody needs to take. It's for everybody, and it's with a program like yours, it's available for anybody.
And that's why we encourage students to come and apply with us in CADC. because we really have the experience in connecting you to the best fit program. We really help you in the application procedure, in the interview procedure for the university, the interview for Campus France in France, or in the UK, for example, you don't have an interview, but we prepare you for kind of any procedure that you really need to pass to apply for the visa, etc. We also give you consultation about how to stay in the country, because we all had this experience. We traveled abroad and we stayed abroad, so we know also about the kind of the titre de séjour or the type of residencies, the opportunities for you, what you really need to do, that kind of tips and tricks to find an internship, to work as well, because we also had this kind of experience. So, and we have partnership with universities, which means we secure for you a placement in a university and a program of your choice as well. So that's why that's what we aim in CADC, actually, to make your journey very smooth, starting from choosing the program until you arrive and settle in the host institution or in the host country.
In the like, do you have any upcoming like speaking opportunities or events or anything that listeners
yes,
can follow you?
We always have kind of events, and people can follow us on everywhere. We have the TikTok. I can share that with you to put on the screen, or maybe you can put it in the description of the video. The TikTok, the Facebook, yes, the Instagram, the LinkedIn as well. So people can reach us everywhere on the social media, and they can find. I go lives on TikTok as well. I do on both TikTok, the Arabic one and the English one. On the Instagram, on the Facebook, on the LinkedIn, they can find us. We do a lot of announcements. We publish also about scholarships. We publish about our courses or about our events, etc. So it's better to follow us on the social media, and you will be able to be updated on what we do in CAD.
Yeah, and very soon there's going to be an upcoming website, right?
We have a website now. We're still working on it. It's a very simple one because we focus more on social media. But on our website, you will be able to see our partner universities. We also publish about the global scholarships. So you can go check the website of the scholarship as well, and a description about the scholarship. And you can contact us. There is a formulaire, like a questionnaire, to answer some questions. And then we receive this question and we keep in touch with you if you're interested to study abroad or to apply for a scholarship as well. So we do have a website, but still we aim to have a bigger one that has more options very soon. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll put everything in the description for you guys. And it was a great pleasure having you.
Thank you so much, Marco. It was fantastic to meet you as well. It's always great to talk to you. Thank you for hosting and for the very nice and interesting podcast. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you soon.